coming on a windy and a rainy day. My name is Hardik. I work at Microsoft. I'm going to talk to you about foundational models. And I don't want to specifically fixate on ChatGPT or DALI or some of the generative AI terms, because my goal here is to share some of the broad observations that I've had working in this. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will go with a mental framework of applying this to your product, to your scenario, or even to your daily life. All right, so I get to ask a lot of questions about, hey, what is this technology? What are GPT models? What are the opportunities for my company, scenarios, key risks? Oh, is it going to take my job? All those interesting things. So let's start, right? These are the few headlines that we have seen. I hope everybody has at least been acquainted with ChatGPT. But yeah, ChatGPT can do homework. ChatGPT can clear a graduate level exam. ChatGPT can clear a job interview. ChatGPT can also help you write your code, right? Now, these are the headlines that you have heard in past few weeks or months. And today, OpenAI released GPT-4, which is supposed to be the next version of GPT models, which can do a bunch of interesting things, including understanding images. So now let's quickly talk about like generative AI versus artificial general intelligence. So quick raise of hand, how many of you know the company mission or motto for OpenAI? What is it?
Asking me the question.
All right, I'll not put you on the spot. So I think OpenAI's mission is to bring into reality artificial general intelligence, right? And generative model is just like one term that has caught market attention. So if you look at generative AI, it's nothing but algorithm that can create videos, new content, text, code, whatever. But then generative AI has been in the works or in the industry for a long time. Like the earliest text-to-speech software, which is generating audio from text, has been for 30 years. You can argue that, well, now we have models which can generate music, image, video, and text. But honestly, I feel we need to have a different take on this. What I feel is this is definitely not artificial general intelligence yet, but it is definitely the first few signs, right? So artificial general intelligence is nothing but ability of an intelligent agent to kind of mimic a human in some ways, not just by parts, but a full human. And so there has been some traits that are presented, like if a model or a system can reason, knowledge, plan, learn, or communicate, then we think it is intelligent traits. And there are a lot of tests, and it's an active area of debate, what is strong AI versus weak AI. But these are some of the tests that I found on Wikipedia's page of artificial general intelligence. Turing test is nothing but if I ask a question and somebody replies, if I as a human cannot differentiate between human or a machine, then it is Turing test. Coffee test is, can I go to an American kitchen and make a coffee, figuring out where the beans are, where the grinder is. College test is, can I clear a college level entrance exam? And employment test is, can I get a job? And if you see, ChatGPT has pretty much done 3 of these things already. Now, let's take a look at the language models, like why it is so beautiful. Like people say, well, ChatGPT is just text in, text out, but no, there's beauty to it. What is the beauty? Well, if you think about it, if the text is an email and you detect it as a spam, it's classification. If the text is, let's say, an article and you detect entities, name recognition, and so on and so forth, all these different NLP problems have the same structure, right? If you give it an article and ask it to summarize in 5 bullets, one is summarization. But if you take a higher level question, like what is the big picture about language? Well, language is nothing but a sequence of symbols that follow a bunch of rules and has some meaning, right? Now, looking at that same definition, and you think about the same problem, which is, well, if you give it some text and ask it to generate code, it is code generation, aka a software engineer. If you give it a bunch of chemical formulas, which is again a bunch of chemical symbols, and ask it to generate drugs, it is drug discovery. So the beauty of language models is the problem is defined so abstract and so beautifully that any model that can do text in, text out, it is on you to define what that text is. If you give that text as a summary of, let's say, a customer who has 5 accounts and balance in each account, then ask the model, okay, how much total balance does the customer have? That is nothing but your chatbot in finance sector, right? General evaluation of deep learning. So I feel like this is interesting, and I just had a conversation with, I think one of you here, I forget the name, but I mean, earlier we used to have statistical modeling, like you gather a bunch of data, you build a model, you test it, you train it, you look out for changes, and then maybe retrain it. But what we have seen is with more computing available better abstractive deep learning algorithms, we have kind of gone from statistical modeling to deep learning, pre-training fine-tuning, and zero-shot learning. Now, if those terms sound alien to you, think of it as, earlier we used to work in machine learning like, okay, what do you want to solve? And people say spam detection. And then you start with a bunch of positive data, negative data, build a model. Now we have completely moved away from that. And what we are saying is forget about the task. Build a huge ass model which has the general notion and the concepts, and then we will use it to do multiple tasks. And that is essentially prompting. This is like a brief, very techie slide on some of the very important papers in natural language processing. Most of them are by, I think some of them are by founders of OpenAI, some of them are by Google, some of them are from Microsoft. But I think the key pivotal point here was, I think till 2019, most research was taking a problem and trying to solve it in a better way, like better classification algorithms, better summarization algorithms. It is 2019 when the paper came out, which was language models are multitask learners, where essentially OpenAI came and said, hey, wait, you know what? We are doing it wrong, right? We don't really want to focus on a language model that can do one task, but we have proof that language models can solve multiple tasks. And that is when it kind of exploded. And then we have GPT-3, and just today we have GPT-4. When I talk to a lot of execs and VPs and CVPs and non-techie people, they ask me, well, this is all mumbo jumbo. Help me explain like why foundational models and what is the wow factor behind it. And I always give this example. Like when you, let's say some of you here are, editors or authors or doctors, engineers, mathematicians, right? If you were a doctor, did you study biology when you were in the first class? No, right? Like the way we were educated is, we first learned alphabets, numbers, reading, writing, grammar skills, and then once we had some notion of general concepts, that is when we specialized and went and read more about, let's say if you want to become a doctor, you read more biology and medicine, and if you want to become an engineer, you do more math, right? This is exactly what is happening with these models. Like none of the models that OpenAI releases is of the type like, hey, this is a better classification model, a better summarization model. It's a foundational model. And that, I think, is a good analogy, because when you try to think of solving a problem, right, I want to leave you with this, which is, don't think of which is the best model that can solve this task. I would challenge you to use a foundational model, prompt it, and use it for that particular problem that you are trying to solve. So yeah, it is no secret that billions of documents, these models have essentially sucked up the entire internet, if you will, and they have learned the concepts. So once you have trained this model, then all you have to do is just prompt it. And this is a money slide. Why? Because I have worked in AI for 10 years, and I know the amount and effort and engineering and cost it takes to collect data, build a model, maintain the model, build a stack, right? What foundational models do is, we have a model for you, we have a stack for you, we have an API for you. All you need to do is kind of prompt it, ask it the right questions, right? Not only this is a huge cost saving, but think of it. There are scenarios where you cannot get data for training the model. It can help it there. The other example is, it actually opens up a lot of kind of exposure to people who have never used machine learning directly. Like think of ChatGPT. A lot of people I know have no background in deep learning, machine learning, but they're able to use it, right? Why? Because now they don't have to build features. Now they don't need to have math. They just need to prompt it properly. And that's what they have been using with ChatGPT. But then I also want to sound caution, which is, these foundational models have all the knowledge, but they don't have wisdom, right? So if you ask it a wrong question, if you swear to the model is going to give you 10 more swears that you've never heard in your life, right? So just be cautious on what you use it for. And this is where it, OpenAI, all their research, and even Microsoft says it needs alignment. And so this is where I want to bring up like the work that we have done at Microsoft. So we were very clear since day one on what this general AI could be and what are the harms it could have. Like a lot of people don't know, but we have been investing in sociological research and the societal impact of this technology since 2016. And it's not just investing in the sense like researching and publishing papers, but we have, like if you go to Azure AI platform or Azure ML, you can use some of these tools. So we make it available for anybody who wants to build models or do anything with AI. and not just training and white papers, but we have tools. So let's say some of the customers, when they build model on our platform, our platform automatically helps them detect bias in their models. Is this, like the other question that I get asked is, hey, is this end of machine learning as we know it? And to that, my answer is, well, it depends on the task, right? Because here is a slide from, or a screenshot from papers with code. This task is German to English translation. And if you see, the best model currently is GPT-3, right? But if you look at the blue score, which is roughly how many words it translates, right, it is 40. Right? And if I give you a translator who makes more than 60% of the time wrong, says wrong things, you will not use it. So my point here is, well, these models are good. This model can be used, but then for some scenarios, it is not at a mark that you would want to ship a usable experience. And that is where you have to think of it like, how do I achieve that quality? So you should try zero shot, which is don't give any examples. Ask the model. Hopefully the model will come up with the right example. If the model fails to come up with the right answer, then give it a few examples, right? That is few shot. But then if your user acceptance quality is like way above, that is when I think machine learning scientists do have a job to fine tune the model and make it better for the task that you want. So yeah, key takeaways. It's a question, is it generative AI, artificial intelligence, general intelligence? Second, language is very abstract. So don't think of it, this is like, yeah, this is just yet another language or text generative model. No, it is a very interesting problem. Foundational model are a paradigm shift. Gone are the days where you think of data and then task and then build a model. Now you build a model and then tackle a task. Key consideration to keep in mind is responsible AI. The last mile of user acceptance quality will still have to be fought hard and worked towards. Yeah, this is a very standard marketing slide. This is what my team works on. We have platform, which is AML. We have all these different services, vision, speech, OpenAI, decision, language. And then we have customized scenarios. If you want to just build a bot service, right, you don't have to go to the second layer. You can directly use the bot service. And Azure OpenAI relationship is kind of made in heaven. That's what we like to say, right? Because I think the answer here is, people generally know about our partnership on the models that come out, but they don't really know that there is a lot of research that Microsoft and OpenAI does together to figure out the societal impacts, to figure out is it safe, to figure out what can the technology be better in following instructions and things like that.
Thank you.